Truth or Fake. I'm joined by Catalina Marchand de Abreu from our Truth or Fake desk. Welcome to you. Let's begin with a climate change conspiracy theory online. What have you got for us?
Yes, we're going to detail the HAARP conspiracy theory today. As you know, there are plenty of those online. This is a conspiracy theory on climate change where people believe that all of the natural disasters that have been occurring recently are linked to a secret climate controlling weapon used by the U.S. Army. To be clear, HAARP does exist.
HAARP does exist.
And it's based in Alaska. It's actually a radio transmitter that can only affect a small amount of air above it. And it's based in Alaska. It's actually a radio transmitter
that can only affect a small amount of air above it.
This is a conspiracy theory on climate change. Secret climate controlling weapon.
Well, well, well. We are indeed back again. And hopefully we are live. As far as I'm aware, we are indeed rolling. So, speaking of rolling, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in this absolutely insane world that we live in. Yikes. Where do you even begin? Honest to God. So, I am indeed live. I am indeed here in the rolling hills of Murrayshire, in the far, far northeast corner of bonny Scotland. Okay? At least in a geographical sense. Anyway, so tonight, just before I came on, obviously tonight we're touching on a document from the Secret Intelligence Service, right? And when I downloaded the document, honest to God, this is no word of a lie. When I downloaded it onto my laptop, I heard this or and I thought, what the heck? And I looked out and there was a big American military helicopter basically scraping the roofs of the houses next to me. And I thought, bloody hell, that was quick, right? That was quick. One download onto my laptop in the I'm trying to think of the name of this helicopter. I think it might have even been an Apache. It was a black, and it was really, I only got a glimpse of it as it went between two houses, and then I seen it again, but only the reflection on a window. It was that low. But I do know, I think Donald Trump is in Scotland. I'm unsure if he's currently still here. It could be connected to that. I'm not far away from the Donald Trump golf course. Not that I play golf because I'm terrible at it. But if not that, I mean, the American military are a big presence here at the moment, a huge presence. Navy, Air Force, and Royal Marines, you name it. The whole lot, right? So you kind of get the feeling that they're gearing up for all-out war, theatre of war. I mean, we're edging ever closer to, NATO's at war with Russia. Hooray! How we cheered, right? The whole world all together. Yeah, sure. I mean, how would having anything apart from peace help anybody whatsoever? It just wouldn't. It couldn't. But the people who control the arms trade, I don't know, Black Rock maybe, they'll certainly benefit from it. Yeah, there's always money to be made in war, right? I mean, what sort of person have you got to be to be selling arms or bombs or whatever it may be. There's many different types of warfare. That is for sure. We'd be here all day speaking about warfare, and we kind of are basically going to be that, because when it comes to HAARP or HAARP, when it comes to HAARP and geoengineering, stratospheric aerosol injection, it is indeed warfare, or what they call weather warfare, at least. And the end game seems to be, if you can control the weather, you can defeat any nation whatsoever, no matter what. You can disable anything whatsoever if you can control what they call the stratosphere or the ionosphere or the atmosphere or the tropical sphere or the, I don't know, space maybe. If you can control that and manipulate it, hey presto, you're pretty much bulletproof then. If you can get it to work, of course, right? So if you look up HAARP on a search engine and you find a fact checker, they'll tell you, oh, HAARP basically is a radio signal transmitter. Oh, so radio, right? So music. No, well, not quite. Not quite. So they tell you that, but really, it's not. It's a weather modification weapon. A lot worse than that, even. And the fact checkers, it's comical, really. The fact checkers tell you there's nothing to worry about. HAARP does not manipulate the weather. It couldn't cause earthquakes and hurricanes. Don't be stupid. That's a conspiracy theory. Sit down. Right? And they closed it down, but it's top secret, so they can't talk about it. Ah, but it's closed down, right? Yeah. Okay. But it's classified, so they can't talk about it. I mean, what would be the point then if it was closed down for it to then be classified? Obviously, it is still on the go, without a doubt. So, what I'm going to do is, before I get into the document, there is another document that I did put in the last video that I done on the original channel that speaks about weather modification in specifically California, which has been going on for the past pretty much 70 years. They have been manipulating the weather non-stop. And every year, adapting, technologies growing for the weather warfare industry. And you still get people today who try and claim that such a thing couldn't be true. Oh, that would be a conspiracy theory. You can't control the weather. Yeah, I'm not so sure. So we'll say good evening in the chat. Can I work the screen? We'll start at the beginning, right? A good place to start. So Katie Kane in the hood, windy. Yeah, can't hear the phone speaker. So I need to shout then. Can you hear me, Katie? Through the wind. Just put it in the right direction and it'll carry me. Delivered to your ears from the rolling hills of Murrayshire, of course, right? So good evening to Katie Kane. The weather here's been poor. Pretty much rain, cloudy, cloudy for the past, I don't know, feels like about a week. But before that, we had good weather, so swings and roundabouts, I guess, right? I've not seen much spraying, but I have noticed they tend to be out very early in the morning, and it's usually to the south of me. And by the time it's up here, it's expanded out, of course, right? Yeah, water vapor. Yeah, them ice crystals. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm trying to speed on, but man, it doesn't happen, right? Good evening to Phil in the hood, our brother Phil. Good to see you back again. Donald saying he would fund police military style. Yeah, well, that's not a surprise, that, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's the not so distant future. Military police. I mean, to be honest, the police are non-existent here. Honest to God, you've got to you've got to do things yourself. In my own experience, that is indeed the best way. So, good evening to Phil, right? Honestly, even in England, the guy Richie Allen, he got hit by I think a car or a van, a hit and run, basically. And he went, I shouldn't laugh. He's all right, luckily, thankfully. But he went to the police and they didn't want to hear it. They had no time. They basically told him to go away. A hit and run. So that's what you're up against. I mean, they're too busy arresting people for a thought crime or a nasty, or what is deemed a nasty status or comment on, I don't know, Facebook or Twitter, right? They're too busy doing that. They're too busy protecting bloody drag queens that are reading stories to children, which in my own view is all out child abuse. No two ways about it. That's the world we're in today. Complete insanity. So good evening, Phil. Wendy B as well. I'm going to have to rattle through. Good to see Wendy B. Richard's in the hood, who watched the live stream last night that I done with Alex and Karen. Yeah, it was quite good. There was a bit of an echo. I think either Karen or Alex never had headphones in, so that's what happens when you get an echo, right? Lives and learns, I suppose. But yeah, it was great. I always enjoy it, so much appreciated. Richard in the hood. October, where did he go? There he goes. Good to see you back again. Ragnar's in the hood. Good to see Ragnar. A pleasure. It's a duck. Good to see It's a Duck floating on in. Great stuff, right? See what I did there? Anybody else that I missed? I'm hoping not. I think I pretty much nailed it, right? Would you believe that? We are on the backup channel tonight, but we get it's a wee bit less, but it doesn't matter. I'm not really bothered about how many people we get. I can't control that. I try and at least put forward an open and honest opinion. I try and put forward information that I reckon I should put out. And I just do what I do. I go with my gut instinct. It's never let me down so far, touch wood, right? And I do what I do. So, with that said, I think we could now jump into the document, right? I think we did get an audio check, and I think we're all good. Well, Justine could be, the beautiful Justine could be with her grandchildren, hopefully, right? Enjoying life instead of listening to me. Total bigging myself up here, right? So, but I'm sure she's all good. If not, she'll maybe join us in a bit, right? Richard's missing Justine tonight. All good, yeah. Wendy, thank you very much. We're good to go then, right? So I'm unsure if anybody's seen this document, to be honest. I had only seen it, I think last week is when I came across it. And it's a Secret Service document. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat, but I might have to make it the full screen, right? So if I go to present, screen share, whole screen, the whole screen, so people can see it, right? There we go. Sharon is, what is it again? Oh, Karen. Yeah, let's go with that. So I'll make it the full screen so people can see it. You'll have to bear with me while I get it going, right? You should have had it set up. Yeah, we know. It's me, but I put that back so I can see it. And then we're good to go. So, straight into it, I guess, right? Secret Intelligence Service. At your service. Yeah. I'd imagine more of an enemy of the people rather than anything beneficial whatsoever, to be honest. So let me see if I can get possibly 2 screens. Even then, I'll be hopeless. So now we're going to be getting into weather warfare, and in particular, HAARP or HAARP, not the harp that you play, of course, right? If only, but it certainly gets played, I'd imagine. And over the, I guess, the past 2 years or 3, even 4, maybe, we have touched on HAARP. I think quite a few times, to be honest, and we have mentioned or got into the topic of weather warfare, if you want to call it that, many times. Lost count, to be honest. Mainly geoengineering, I guess. We probably won't stop covering it. The more we learn, the better equipped we are. At least for me, anyway, in my view, right? So, it's not a huge document. I will link it in at the end. We're possibly going to go about 2 hours, maybe. Has anyone read this document before? Is Frank here? He might have seen it, right? I swear that guy's seen everything you can imagine. That sounds quite bad, actually. But I don't call Frank the information tank for no reason, right? He's a great guy. And I'm very appreciative of people who send emails and engage, watch, whatever it may be. So thank you very much to everyone. And the website is still going. I don't know if it's worth its while, to be honest. I try and keep up with the website and the channel, obviously, basically too. On that as well, I might potentially make the original channel, the original That's Life But Not As We Know It, just for pre-made videos, and the backup channel, That's Life But Not As We Know It 2, for live streaming. And maybe the third one, possibly for what people call YouTube Shorts. So that would give it, I guess, a wee bit of structure, because at the moment there's no structure whatsoever. It kind of just mirrors the mind that I've got, just complete mayhem, like Spaghetti Junction, basically. Do we know what that is? Americans might not. You can kind of work it out. So we're all good for the audio. And like I said, we could be about 2 hours. It'll depend on how we get on, or how I get on even, but I'm going to try and keep an eye on the chat, so I'll try my best, right? So, can we? I think everyone's going to see that enough. Can I make it the full screen? No, I better not try to because I'll make it even worse, right? So, let's get down to it on what they call weather warfare. No, it wouldn't be guns, would it? It would be rain, I guess. Or more like a hurricane, probably. It was only up until about a few years ago that I actually came to realize they do manipulate hurricanes, earthquakes, you name it. No two ways about it. So, environmental modification techniques, ENMOD, for military use constitute, in the present context of global warfare, the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. What, rain? Well, not quite, right? I would think more maybe probably that movie. Oh, bugger. Geostorm, I think it's called. I'd be thinking more along that lines, to be honest. I doubt it's a weapon of mass destruction yet, but it could be. Because all these weather events that we've seen that have caused destruction, of course, they're natural. Yay, they're natural events. Of course they are. Let's go with that. So, rarely acknowledged in the debate on global climate change. Rarely acknowledged. Yeah. Funny that, right? Save the climate, save the climate. Well, stop the bloody weather nothing said about weather manipulation. No, of course not. Yeah, secret. Oh, shh, hush, hush, hush. Of course, right? So, rarely acknowledged in the debate on global climate change, the world's weather can now be modified as part of a new generation of sophisticated electromagnetic weapons. The USA, Russia, and the PRC have developed capabilities to manipulate the climate for military use. Shock horror. Environmental modification techniques have been applied by the US military for more than half a century. US mathematician John von Neumann, in liaison with the US Department of Defense, began research on weather modification during the late 1940s, which is round about the time we did sort of think it began. At least going by documents we have seen in the past, mainly from NASA. Now, NASA don't get mentioned in this, which is quite a surprise, but you can tell they've got their paws all over it. And we'll get into that a wee bit more as we go on. So, the 1940s, they reckon, late 1940s, at the height of the Cold War, and predicted forms of climate warfare as yet unimagined. During the Vietnam War, cloud seeding techniques were used beginning in 1967 under Project Popeye. Yeah. Some people think that's not true either. Well, shock horror, it is true. The objective of which was to prolong the monsoon season and block enemy supply routes along the Ho Chi Trail. We'll go with that, right? Vietnam, let's go with that. The US military has developed advanced capabilities which enable it selectively to alter weather patterns. Selectively to alter weather patterns. The technology which was developed under the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, aka HAARP. Yeah. Is an appendage of the Strategic Defense Initiative, which is Star Wars. Shock horror. Dun, 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 dun. Star Wars, yeah, of course. Right. Why not? From a military standpoint, HAARP is a weapon of mass destruction, operating from the outer atmosphere and capable of destabilizing agriculture and ecological systems around the world. Not just a wee bit above the fucking aerial. Oh, it's a radio yeah, it's a radio transmitter. I mean, who would actually believe that? Comical, man. Honestly. And that came from the Weather Modification US Air Force Department AF 2025 final report. Quote, offers the war fighter a wide range of possible options to defeat or coerce an adversary. Capabilities, it says, extend to the triggering of floods. Yeah. Hurricanes. Yeah. Droughts and, of course, earthquakes. Shock. Horror. Oh, it's a radio transmitter. You can pick up the local radio station on it. Yeah, let's go with that. Quote, weather modification will become a part of domestic and international security and could be done unilaterally. It could have offensive and defensive applications and even be used for deterrence purposes. The ability to generate precipitation, fog, and storms on Earth and or to modify space weather and the production of artificial weather. Yeah. All are a part of an integrated set of military technologies. Yeah. The ability to generate rain, fog, and storms on Earth and or to modify space weather. Now, since when was there weather in space? Oh, it's raining in space. Oh, fucking hell. Of course, what they're talking about is what they pretend is space, but it's not actually space. It's more a low Earth orbit. Of course, there's no fucking weather in space. I mean, what are they talking about? Of course, they're talking about here on Earth, right? But they call it space. Similar to them calling the space station in space when it's not in space at all. And people think there's not an issue with that, but it's a blatant lie right there in front of your face, a complete lie. And people talk about it being in space. They don't even know that it's not in space. I find that quite funny, to be honest. But there you go, right? So yeah, it was look out for the space weather forecast. If you're going on any holidays, right? You better double check. So, where did we get to there? Yeah. The ability to generate, yeah, we got to there. So, yeah, we read that bit. Military technologies. That's what it is. It's a weapon. All out. That's the bottom line. And it probably is a weapon of mass destruction. 1977. Anyone remember it? A bit before my time. Yeah, 10 years to be precise. Oh yeah, it's my birthday on the 15th of this month, by the way. Checks. I'll be expecting the checks in the post, right? I won't hold my breath, put it that way. Do you know this? The older you get, I don't care about my birthday anymore. Why? What's the point? It makes me angry anytime I realize how old I am now. And of course, older people say, "Oh, you're still young." And I think, well, don't bloody feel it. But there you go. So, 1977. An international convention was ratified by the UN General Assembly, which banned military or other hostile use of environmental modification techniques causing widespread, long-lasting, or severe effects. Oh, the good guys, right? Let's go with that. According to the Convention on the Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques, the term, quote, environmental modification techniques, close quote, refers to any technique for changing through the deliberate manipulation of natural processes, the dynamics, composition, or structure of the earth, including its biota. Do we know what that is? Who's going to be first to fill us in? Is it lithosphere? Lithosphere? Hydrosphere? And atmosphere? Every sphere you can think of? Or of, at the very end, they put it in outer space. Because what, there's weather in space? Well, going by this, there seemingly is. And that comes from the Convention of the Prohibition of Military or any other hostile use of environmental modification techniques, United Nations, Geneva, May the 18th, 1977. While the substance of the 77 Convention was reasserted in the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, signed at the, 1992 Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah, how they partied. Yeah, laid out the plan, right? Here's the plan. Yeah. Debate on weather modification for military use has become a scientific taboo. Shh, hush, hush, hush. No, don't talk about that. Don't mention the war. Yeah. So you're not allowed to talk about it. Well, that's me fucked then, right? I'm done. And like it said at the start, where's all these activists standing up against it? These bloody Greenpeace or whatever the bloody are. Of course, they're manipulated by the media. Most of them haven't got a clue about anything whatsoever. And that's coming from me. Oh, man. Honestly, I kind of feel for them. I hope a lot of them come to and wake up and realize they're being led astray. And they're basically being handed the shovel to dig us into a grave. That's what we do. That's what they make the masses do. They make them want the suffering. So we know about the Rio de Janeiro. We touched on that before. We possibly, I'd imagine, will get into that again. So it's a scientific taboo. You don't speak about it because what? The CIA might come and bloody rub you out. I'd imagine, right? Or NASA, that's who it would be. You'd have Buzz Aldrin at your door, trying to knock you out. Come here. Don't you ask me that stupid question. Like Bart Sibrel got. Yeah. So, military analysts and scientists, military analysts and scientists are mute. Zip. Nothing. They're mute on the subject. They've switched the microphone off. Shock horror, right? Of course, they get paid. They get paid and told what to say and what not to say, of course. And they get well paid, I can assure you of that. And a lot of these people, again, the scientists, the analysts, they're psychotic, crazy people. It's the only way I can explain it. There we go. We're back again. Sorry, my daughter disturbed me. So what can you do, right? Have kids, they said. It'll be great, they said. Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, we're sorted. We're good. We're all good in the hood. We can go back. What we're going to do right here is go back. Where did we? I don't even know where we got to. Yeah, we were on mute. Speaking of mute, right? I had to mute myself. Yeah, coincidence? I don't know. Anyway, where did we get to there? I'm hoping there's no issues now. We're still going. I think we're all good. One of these days we're going to get it right. So yeah, the scientists, yeah, the good guys. Yep. We know all about them, of course, right? And of course, the World Economic Forum talk about how in the future there's going to be multiple crises, a polycrisis, a spaghetti junction of crisis, or crises. I don't know. Take your pick. That's the world we're seemingly going into. But they also talk about how there's going to be hatred aimed at the scientific community. I wonder why that could be. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Yeah, you probably will get it, to be fair. So, meteorologists are not investigating the matter. Well paid, I guess, right? And environmentalists, them guys, are largely focusing on greenhouse gas emissions under the Kyoto Protocol. The possibility of climatic or environmental manipulations as part of a military and intelligence agenda, while tactically acknowledged, is not part of the broader debate on climate change under UN auspices. Shock. Horror. They don't want to know, right? It's not happening, basically. Oh, it's not a thing. It doesn't need debated. Oh, it's taboo. The scientists don't want to know about it. Won't come as a shock, that. I mean, a lot of this we all already know. Most definitely. But some of it, I think, will be raise an eyebrow or two, maybe. While discussion of the post-Cold War military applications of weather warfare is a taboo, the US Air Force has acknowledged the strategic importance of ENMOD techniques in the modern battlefield of non-conventional warfare and intel ops, including the conduct without the enemy's knowledge of covert weather modification operations. They wouldn't even know. Perfect almost, right? Almost perfect. At this juncture in our history, US NATO forces are deployed worldwide. The Pentagon has formulated the contours of a global military agenda, a quote, long war. Yeah, the long war. Like the long COVID, a war without borders. Yeah. How they cheered. Quote, weather warfare, close quote, is the ultimate weapon of mass destruction, with the potential of destabilizing an enemy's ecosystem, destroying its agriculture, disabling communications networks. In other words, ENMOD techniques can undermine an entire national economy, impoverish millions of people, and, quote, kill a nation, close quote, without the deployment of troops and military hardware. The troops, maybe not. The hardware, I think they might maybe need some of that, right? Yeah. I mean, they paint it as this perfect weapon, the ultimate weapon. While the Ecologist published in 2007 a shorter version of the above study, the issue of climatic manipulation for military use has increasingly been largely ignored by environmentalists. That's a surprise, that. Yeah, they don't care. They don't see the true. I mean, if they could see the true reality, the true issue, then they probably would be on, I guess, our side. But they're so blinded and brainwashed, completely brainwashed by school, university, college, the media, the TV, the movies. But there you go. So they ignore it. Well, we don't. Quote, it is related to 50 years of intensive and increasingly destructive programs to understand and control the upper atmosphere. Aha. HAARP is an integral part of a long history of space research and development of a deliberate military nature. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A military nature, all right. The military applications of combining these projects are enormous. The ability of the HAARP Space Lab rocket combination to deliver very large amounts of energy comparable to a nuclear bomb anywhere on Earth via laser and particle beams. The project is likely to be defined as a space shield against incoming weapons, or what the fact checkers tell you, a device for repairing the ozone layer. In fact, they don't even tell you that. They'll tell you it's a frequency transmitter or a radio transmitter. But That's exactly what it is. It's a weapon for manipulating the weather in the atmosphere. Not only that, it can help trigger serious extreme weather events, i.e., hurricane, earthquake. Yeah. I kind of wonder if, I mean, the major earthquakes that we've seen in the past 10 years, I would question every one of them, to be honest. Everyone, especially the major ones. Look at the places it happened to. Look at what was going on at the time politically, globally. I mean, yeah. I think they might already be there with controlling these aspects. And of course they'll say it's natural, it's nature. What can you do, right? And this bit here, what happened there? The HAARP program has been terminated at its location in Alaska, USA. Star, 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 star. The technology of weather modification is strictly classified. Nope, you cannot see it anymore. So it's closed down, but it's classified now. I mean, yeah, of course, right? Clearly, it's still ongoing. Without a doubt. So obvious as well. The significant expansion in America's weather warfare arsenal, which is a priority of the Department of Defense, is not a matter for debate or discussion, shock horror. While environmentalists did blame the Bush administration for not having signed the Kyoto Protocol, who's going to tell us what that is? The issue of, quote, weather warfare, namely the manipulation of weather patterns for military use, is never mentioned. Yeah, shh, hush, hush. Don't mention the war. I mean, the weather war. It's a secret, right? It's a NASA secret. They're good at them. I think NASA could be the best entity at keeping secrets, which is fitting given the secret society world that we inherit, right? The US Air Force has the capability of manipulating climate either for testing purposes or, I mean, why would they do that? Test manipulating the climate. Or for military intelligence use. Right. These capabilities extend to the triggering of floods, hurricanes, droughts, and, like we said, yep, earthquakes. Natural. Don't worry about it. Yeah. In recent years, large amounts of money have been allocated by the US Department of Defense to further deploying the perfecting of these capabilities. Yeah. But I thought, wait, they closed it all down. Maybe not. Weather modification will become part of domestic and international security and could be performed unilaterally. It could have offensive and defensive applications and even be used for deterrence purposes. The ability to generate precipitation, fog, and storms on Earth or to modify space weather and the production of artificial weather are all part of an integrated set of technologies which can provide substantial increase in US or degraded capability in an adversary to achieve global awareness, reach, and power. And again, that's the AF 2025 final report from the, I don't know, Air University. of the US Air Force. While there is no firm evidence that the US Air Force weather warfare facilities have been deliberately applied to modify weather patterns, right, one would expect that if these capabilities are being deployed for military use, they would at least be the object of routine testing, much in the same way as the testing of a new conventional strategic weapons system. Yeah. Yeah, no evidence, but it's there, isn't it? Oh, it's there, all right. Needless to say, the subject matter is a scientific taboo. Shh, shh, hush, hush. The possibility of climatic or environmental manipulations as part of a military and intelligence agenda, while tactically acknowledged, is never considered as relevant. Military analysts are mute on the subject. Meteorologists are not investigating the matter. And environmentalists are strung on global warming. Yep, and the Kyoto Protocol. Ironically, the Pentagon, while recognizing its ability to modify the world's climate for military use, has joined the global warming consensus. Fuck. Ah, man. I mean, that is comical, that, right? It's so funny. They're like, huh? Ironically, because it doesn't make sense. Well, of course, but it does. In a major study, the Pentagon analyzed in detail the implications of various global warming scenarios. Yeah, the old scenario, right? The old problem, reaction, solution. And of course, they'll be using their super duper 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 computer modeling. Hooray for the computer, AI super duper computer. Geese peace, right? Ironically. Honest to God. Yeah. The Pentagon document. Nothing is mentioned regarding its main weather warfare program, HAARP, based in Alaska, jointly managed by the US Air Force and US Navy. There are several mainstream explanations on weather and climate change, none of which fully explains, within their respective terms of reference, the highly unusual and erratic weather occurrences, not to mention the human toll and devastation, which have led to the destabilization of entire agricultural and ecosystems. Needless to say, these explanations never address the issue of climate manipulation for military use. Yeah. Never fully explains. Yeah. It never seems to add up, right? All these theories about climate change. Humans done it. The pig farms done it. The cows done it. The driving done it. The going to work done it. The using your toilet done it. Opening your fridge done it. I mean, we'd be here all day now listing off the fucking things they try and blame. Of course, they want us to foot the bill. Or if you like, carbon footprint the bill. I'm here all week. It's cool. So yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting document, isn't it? Really. It all kind of backs up everything that we've been talking about in the past. Has anyone read it before? It's a cracker, honestly. There's another one that I want to get into, but I'm not sure if we're going to have time. I'm trying to go as quick as I can. You might notice. I'm trying to be... Well, you probably won't, actually. I try and go quicker, but you know what they say, right? More hurry less a speed. At least that's what I'm told. So where did we get to? Yeah, the HAARP program. The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. What, that didn't exist? Well, it does exist, all right. Oh, but they closed it down, sure. Just like they stopped MK Ultra programs. Oh, they don't do that anymore. Yeah, of course. Let's go with that. So HAARP, based in Alaska, has been in existence since 1992, which is when, of course, they had their Rio de Janeiro conference. Coincidence? No. It is part of a new generation of sophisticated weaponry under the US Strategic Defense Initiative. Yay! SDI. SDI. USA. Operated by the US, the Air Force Research Laboratories Space Vehicles Directory. Sounds a bit NASA-like that, right? Yeah. We'll hold that thought for the time being. HAARP constitutes a system of powerful antennas capable of creating controlled local modifications of the ionosphere upper layer of the atmosphere. HAARP will be used to induce a small localized change in ionospheric temperature so that resulting physical reactions can be studied, right, by other instruments located either at or close to the HAARP site. Testing stuff. Totally nothing to worry about whatsoever. Yeah. HAARP has been described as, quote, a super powerful radio wave beaming technology which lifts areas of the ionosphere by focusing a beam and heating those areas. Yeah. Electromagnetic waves then bounce back onto Earth and penetrate everything living and dead. The lot. Now think about that for a second. Think about it bouncing. What's it going to bounce off of? The fucking moon? No, of course not. Scientist Dr. Bertel depicts HAARP as, quote, a gigantic heater that can cause major disruptions in the ionosphere, creating not just holes, but long incisions in the protective layer that keeps deadly radiation from bombarding the planet. Right, sounds great that, right? Hooray for HAARP, the super duper heater beam! I mean, honest to God, what gain? What are they trying to do, man? Get us all soaked up into some black hole? What a world we're in. And people think that HAARP was just a radio transmitter. I mean, that's quite comical, that, right? Sure. A gigantic heater. I keep thinking about all the Starlink drone satellites and how they looked. The inside of them looked like a heater. It was the very first thing that I thought. They keep popping into my mind when I'm reading this. Is that the true intent for Starlink? Is Starlink another form of HAARP? I mean, it's pretty much the same as HAARP when you look at it laid out. I don't know if anybody else has thought that, but they probably have, to be honest. Because I've always been thinking, well, it can't be internet. It can't be just, oh, it's took a photo of fucking Ukraine or whatever nonsense. The true nature of it, they won't tell us for sure. I think we might be getting warmer as to what Starlink's true intentions could be. But then again, I could be wrong, right? I've been wrong before. Seemingly, you can ask my wife. She says that I've been wrong, but that's her opinion. Of course, I've been wrong before, right? I'm only human. I'm not an AI bot. Honestly, I'm not an AI bot. That was funny, that when I got called an AI bot. Oh, he's an AI bot. Because I only done live streaming about a year in. I'd never done one until about a year. I didn't see the point or anything like that. And then I started doing it. And here we are today. Anyway. So, long incisions. Yeah. Great. Sounds great. According to physicist and consultant to the David Sarnoff Laboratory in Princeton, Richard Williams, HAARP constitutes, quote, an irresponsible act of global vandalism, close quote. I think he might be on the money there, to be fair. Quote, beam much more energy into the ionosphere. That could produce a severe disruption of the upper atmosphere at one location that may produce effects that spread rapidly across the earth for years, close quote. Quoted in Scott Gilbert, Environmental Warfare and US Foreign Policy, the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. Sounds great, does it? You can see why these psychotic entities would want to be the key holder to the most sophisticated weather manipulating technology available to man ever in the history of the planet. Because if you get that key, nothing's going to stop you. So we need to find it, right? Let's start looking for the key. Yeah, I think he could be right, that guy. Without explicitly referring... Wait a minute, did we miss a bit? Yeah. Where was you on that one, right? HAARP has been presented to public opinion as a program of scientific and academic research. Yeah, radio. US military documents seem to suggest, however, that HAARP's main objective is to, quote, exploit the ionosphere for Department of Defense purposes, close quote. Without explicitly referring to the HAARP program, a US Air Force study points to the use of, quote, induced ionospheric modifications, close quote. Yeah. By using HAARP, of course, as a means of altering weather patterns as well as disrupting enemy communications and radar. It can do that too. Yeah, radio, right? Radio. HAARP also has the ability of triggering blackouts and disrupting the electricity power system of entire regions. Yeah. An analysis of statements emanating from the USAF points to covert manipulation of weather patterns, communication systems, and electric power as a weapon of global warfare, enabling the US to disrupt and dominate entire regions of the world. HAARP has been operational since the early 1990s. Its systems of antennas at Alaska was initially based on a technology patented by Advanced Power Technologies Inc., a subsidiary of Atlantic Richfield Corporation. The first phase of the HAARP ionospheric research instrument was completed by APTI. The system of antennas was first installed in 1992 by BAE, British Aerospace Systems. The British NASA. The antennas beam into the outer atmosphere using a set of wireless high-frequency transmitters. Yeah. In 1994, ARCO sold its APTI subsidiary, including the patents and the second phase construction contract, to E-Systems, a high-tech military organization linked to the CIA. Shock horror! I wondered how long it would take, right? It's not took very long for some of these well-known entities to pop their head up, right? It does not take long. E-Systems specialize in the production of electronic warfare equipment, navigation and reconnaissance machinery, including, quote, highly sophisticated spying devices, close quote. Yikes. Yeah, they sound great, them, do they? Honest to God, man. A spying device? Surely that would be a spy pad. Yeah. Or a Nintendo snitch. You get me? Quote, E-Systems is one of the largest intelligence contractors in the world, doing work for the CIA, hooray, defense intelligence organizations and others. Yeah, lots of money there. 1.8 billion of their annual sales are to these organizations, with 800 million for black projects, i.e., projects that even the United States Congress isn't told how the money is being used. Oh, but I'm sure it's for your benefit, right? I mean, honestly, these black projects should never be allowed to be happening. And of course, the masses think, oh, but it's because the Russians, right? Oh, the Iraqis, they're going to steal our freedoms. Quick, invade Afghanistan. Yeah, lots of money there. Billions, millions, millions. I wonder what sort of black projects. I mean, Jesus. I dread to even imagine, to be honest. The company, quote, the company has outfitted such military projects as the Doomsday Plan, which we heard about in the Kaku video that I put out. The system that allows the president to manage a nuclear war. And Operation Desert Storm. Yeah, I think he would be away in his doomsday plane. They've seemingly got a doomsday plane. I guess it'll be all the big wigs in American government. Biden will probably fall down the stair. He'll be left. He'll be getting left, right? I mean, Jesus, surely Joe Biden can't run again for president. Surely. I mean, fucking hell. Honest to God. Surely not, right? But yeah, of course, the perfect candidate. Perfect candidate. Within the purchase of APTI, E-Systems acquired the strategic weather warfare technology and patent rights, including Bernard J. Eastland's US patent number 4686605, entitled, quote, "Method and apparatus for altering a region in the Earth's atmosphere, ionosphere, and or magnetosphere." Hooray! Yeah. And of course, weather manipulation is a conspiracy theory. It is worth mentioning that the Eastland APTI patents were based on the research of, wait for it, Yugoslav scientist Nikola Tesla, many of whose ideas were adopted by US corporations. Yeah, I bet they were. Interesting guy, Tesla, right? That'll be one for the future, I'd imagine. We will get back to that. Eastland described this technology as being capable of, quote, "the causing of total disruption in communications over a very large portion of the Earth, missile or aircraft destruction, deflection, or confusion, weather modification," close quote. Not surprisingly, the patent had previously been sealed under a government secrecy order. Shock horror. Barely a year following the E-Systems purchase of APTI's weather warfare technology, E-Systems was bought out by Raytheon. Is it Raytheon? We'll go with that. Raytheon. The fourth largest US military contractor. Through this money-spinning acquisition, Raytheon became the largest, quote, defense electronics firm in the world. Meanwhile, Arco, which had sold APTI to E-Systems, had itself been acquired by the BP Amoco Oil Consortium, thereby integrating the largest oil company in the world. Huh. Now, ain't that something? BP even in on the act. Raytheon, through its E-Systems subsidiary, I can never say that, now owns the patents used to develop the HAARP weather warfare facility in Alaska. Raytheon is also involved in other areas of weather research for military use, including the activities of its subsidiary in Antarctica, Raytheon Polar Services. Yeah. The Antarctica, eh? Again, that's interesting. Not a surprise, but certainly one we will get back to. The HAARP antenna array and transmitters were slated to be built in several distinct phases. So it gets into the phases a wee bit, which we kind of don't really need to get into. Largest heater ever built. Well, we can do with it here because it's pretty cold. So it starts off very small, and then they do get it to completion. The final expanded stage, envisioned by Eastland, seemingly it's his idea, which will provide maximum capability to manipulate the world's weather patterns, has now been reached under the now gone US Bush administration. The main partner of Raytheon in the construction and development stage of the HAARP antenna array is British Aerospace Systems, which had been involved in the initial installation, of course, right, in the early 1990s. The multi-million-dollar contract was granted by the Office of Naval Research to BAE in 2003 through its US subsidiary BAE Systems Advanced Technologies Inc. The contract was signed 2 months before the Anglo-American invasion of Iraq. Now, ain't that something? That certainly raised my eyebrow. Using Raytheon's technology, BAE was to develop the HAARP ionospheric research instrument to its maximum capabilities of, quote, full size or final ARI. In April 2003, BAE Systems Advanced Technologies outsourced the production and installation of the antenna to HAARP, a company specializing in advanced wireless antennas for military use. Again, another company that sounds great. So they went on to basically complete the project. A year later, during month 04, 2004, the final phase in the expansion of the HAARP facility was launched. The phase consisted in equipping all of the 180 antennas with high-frequency transmitters. BAE Systems was awarded a further contract, this time for 35 million. Now think about this as well. If they had closed it all down, why did they then go on to give them another contract? Classified, right? In July 2004, Fizar had delivered and installed the 132 crossed dipole antennas, including the antenna support structures and ground screen items at the HAARP facility, bringing the number of antennas from 48 under the FDP stage to 180. Yeah, maximum, right? Fitting that. And BAE again contracted out another company. They're very good at doing that, right? No, you can do it. You do the dirty work. We'll stand and watch, right? But of course, they're there. They're the main people behind it. You cannot trust any of these entities whatsoever. They subcontracted outsourced to another company called DRS, who again are a wonderful company, sure, who specialize in a variety of leading edge products for the US military and intelligence agencies of the world. Yeah. Deliveries and installation are to be completed by month 07, 2006. HAARP is described as a, quote, research project, close quote, sure. The production of the transmitters was entrusted to DRS, C41 Command, Control, Communications, Computers, and Intelligence, Jesus, group. The array, we don't need that. I don't want to miss, there's bits I don't want to miss, but there's some that is not really important. Although it probably is, to be fair. The phaser contract, and pending the final delivery of the remaining HV. Wait a minute. Yeah, we'll go from here. So, in this regard, a report published by the Russian Duma during 2002 did suggest that the US military had plans to test its weather modification techniques at its Alaska facility as well as 2 other sites. Quote, the committees even reported that the USA is planning to test 3 facilities of this kind. One of them is located on the military testing ground in Alaska, and its full-scale tests are to begin in early 2003. The second one is in Greenland, and the third one is in Norway. Now, what stands out in your mind about Greenland and Norway? Anybody? Because there's something in my mind, and it's connected to the atmosphere, if you want to call it that. Quote, when these facilities are launched into space from Norway, Alaska, and Greenland, a closed contour even, will be created with a truly fantastic integral potential for influencing the near-Earth medium. Close quote. State Duma. The Russian Duma. The USA plans to carry out large-scale scientific experiments under the HAARP program. Yeah, I bet it does. Will create weapons capable of breaking radio communication lines and equipment installed on spaceships and rockets. What? Spaceships give over. Provoke serious accidents in electricity networks. And in oil and gas pipelines. Huh? Yeah. And have a negative impact on the mental health of people populating entire regions. Yeah. The deputies said, and that came from the 8th of the 8th, 2002, Interfax News Agency, original Russian BBC monitoring. The full-size ionospheric research instrument, FIRI stage, described as, quote, a maximum size of 180 antenna elements arranged in 15 columns by 12 rows, close quote, was scheduled to be completed by mid-2006. Brackets, assuming the installation of the remaining dual transmitters, close brackets, at which time the HAARP program would have reached its maximum capacity, meaning the ability to selectively modify for military use weather patterns anywhere in the world. 2006. The HAARP build-out is jointly funded by the US Air Force, the US Navy, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA. Shock, horror. Business Wire, 10/6/2004. Of course, DARPA would be there. The only one that's missing is the key one, and that is NASA. They're the hush hush, don't mention part of it. That's my view. So, we're getting there. This advanced stage of full capacity corresponds to what the Air Force refers to as, quote, owning the weather, close quote. U.S. Aerospace Forces, U.S. Aerospace Forces, NASA. U.S. Aerospace Forces will own the weather. Of space. Don't be stupid. By capitalizing on emerging technologies and focusing development of these technologies to war-fighting applications. From enhancing friendly operations to disrupting those of the enemy via small-scale tailoring of natural weather patterns to complete dominance of global communications and counter-space control. Weather modification offers the warfighter a wide range of possible options to defeat or coerce an adversary. In the United States, weather modification will likely become a part of national security policy, with both domestic and international applications. Our government will pursue such a policy depending on its interests at various levels. Yeah. And that came from, again, the 2025. What have I done? Final report. Oh my God, it's not working. We got there. Concluding. So we're concluding now. Weather manipulation is the preemptive weapon par excellence. It can be directed against enemy countries or even, quote, friendly nations, close quote. Clearly not such a thing then, right? Without their knowledge, weather warfare constitutes a covert form of preemptive war. The manipulation of climate can be used to destabilize an enemy's economy, ecosystem, and agriculture, e.g., North Korea or Cuba. Yeah, but not us then, right? Not our own people. No, they wouldn't do that. Oh, no, they wouldn't do that to us. Oh, no, let's not go there. It can trigger havoc in financial and commodity markets and can potentially be used as an instrument of, quote, insider trade, close quote, yeah, for, of course, financial gain. Yeah, the money. It has the ability of destabilizing a country's institutions. Concurrently, the disruption in agriculture creates greater dependency on food aid and imported grain staples from the US and other Western countries. Yeah, there's money to be made in weather warfare. Of course there is. It's kind of always the bottom line, right? Do we know what this is here? Does anybody know what it says? It's, of course, the motto for the Secret Intelligence Service. Does anybody know what it means, though? Let me see. Oh, I almost kicked someone out. I managed not to, so there you go. But we're almost done. Someone might know, but to be honest, it's one most people probably have never even seen. It's the motto for the Secret Intelligence Service of the world. And I say of the world because they appear to be connected right across the board, which is interesting, right? It's almost like they're their own government, all connected, like a hidden shadow government, like a hidden hand. Yeah. Well, seemingly it means through adversity, remain true. Yikes. I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah. The secret intelligence service remain true. True to what exactly? True to the powers that be, not to you and me. Of course, I'm not American, so it wouldn't be me anyway, but not to the good American people. Not to them like they should be. So let me link it in. People can check it out. If you've not seen it, hey, download it. You might get a helicopter at your door, like I did, flying by your house. Share it maybe if you want people to check it out. Send it to them by all means, right? You don't even have to share me. You can send them the document. Let me pop it in the chat, and then we'll. I don't think I'm going to have time to lots of comments. 180 odd, too many. Yikes! I couldn't see. When I'm reading a document, I need to try and focus, which for me can be difficult. Of course, right? So I think we're done with the screen sharing for the time being. There is more that I do want to get into. That might have to wait until next week. So we'll jump in the chat. So I'll put it in, and people can have a look, right? Who's on about the football score? What game are you talking about? I'm unsure. My local team at the weekend, they won, and they never got. They're safe now. They're safe. They're not going to get relegated. It was close though, but hey, it's a mugs game, right? Football in my days was about the only thing there was for me. The snooker. I quite like the snooker, to be fair. It can be a bit boring when you've been watching it for like 2 hours. Yeah, that's maybe enough. I like the guy Ronnie O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan, is it? My dad was a big fan of the snooker. He was actually good at playing snooker, which is funny because I'm terrible at it, but my brother's really good. Work that out, right? The snooker gene skipped me. I got the football gene. But I used to like Stephen Hendry as well. Funny because I kind of grew up watching his whole career in snooker from a young lad, about 18, I think, and then now he's like an old man, and it's like I seen it and I think, bloody hell, I'm old as well then, right? But in sport, your career's quite short. The guy, Hurricane Higgins, he was some player. What a player. And smoking fags at the table, and drinking a whiskey at the table as well. Of course, you wouldn't get any of that today. People were like, smoking, drinking beer. But the guy Higgins, what a player. Not John Higgins, even though he's a great player as well, but the original Higgins, Hurricane Higgins. Unbelievable player. Suffered a lot mentally. Liked to drink. I think even, well, drinking during the game, right? Of course, people call snooker a sport, but it's not really a sport. I think people go to these things through boredom more than anything else, a kind of escape. If you don't go to that, it's maybe going to be the bottle or the drugs, right? There's not much else in Scotland, to be honest. John's still playing, yeah. I'm unsure. I mean, he must be cracking on as well. John Higgins, right? Another Scottish player. Scotland seemed to do well with snooker players. There was a guy that I liked. He passed away. I can't remember his Hunter. I think his name was Hunter. Australian guy. That was quite sad. That he was a great player, fantastic player. And I can't remember. It was some kind of cancer that he got. It was quite sad to see, but that's life as well. But not as we know it, right? I thought Elgin United. Nah, it's Elgin City. Come on, the mighty black and whites. Elgin used to play in the Highland League, which is a low league, basically. No one knows about it. No one cares about it. But Elgin used to boss the league. They were always winning it. They were the best team in it by a long shot. Eventually, they got put into the professional league. But when Elgin were in that league, they got nicknamed the Giant Killer or the Giant Killers. And they even got awarded a special trophy for it. And because Elgin at the time, no one had ever heard of Elgin. And teams would come here in the Scottish Cup and think, a stupid wee team, they're not going to be any good. And of course, what would happen? They would get beat. Hence the name, the Giant Killer, right? That was Elgin City back in the day. Maybe not so much today, to be honest. I think it was Paul Hunter. I think it was leukemia or some horrendous illness that he got. So good to see It's a Duck in the hood. And Rab is here as well. Robert Ingram. Good to see you back again. Katie as well. Katie Kane back again. Great to see you. Mike Mitt in the hood. Good to see you back again. Great stuff. October, where is he? There he goes. In the hood. Good to see you back again. When am I going to be back? I don't know, to be honest. I'm quite busy until next week. So it could be next week. Les in the hood. Good to see Les back again. Anybody that I missed? Wendy as well. Doomsday Plan, yeah. You know the Doomsday Plan. Do you know what it is? When it's doomsday, they're going to fire all these rockets in the atmosphere. And they're going to block out the sun. Hooray! I mean, that's like double doomsday then. And if you look at the video that I done on Macho Cuckoo, you'll see a wee bit more about the doomsday plan. And again, another document from California, like I mentioned, that points to weather modification in California since the 1940s. It's not a new thing. And it's definitely not a conspiracy theory. If only, right? If only. And Frank's in the hood as well. Good to see Frank. The information tank. Each satellite like a transponder. So like a transmitter then, basically. Which is what they had in the HAARP installation. Is a transponder and a transmitter. I'm guessing they're two different things, right? It shows you how much I know. Pretty much nothing. I'm trying to see. Oh, Sue as well in the hood. Sue Sprain. Yeah, I would agree with that. Technology, the true downfall of mankind. I couldn't put it any better myself, to be honest. Yeah, that's exactly. I'm glad people did think of the Aurora. That's as soon as he mentioned. I mean, it was in my mind about HAARP anyway. I've mentioned it before. But when they mentioned Alaska, Greenland, and Norway, all known worldwide for their Aurora activity, it kind of makes you think, right? And we're seeing it more and more here, which is also making me think, bloody hell, They've set it. They're targeting Scotland now. So I'm unsure. Have they deliberately picked these locations knowing there's already this activity and they're going to try and manipulate it, jump on the back of it somehow? I'm unsure. Of course, it's all speculation on my part. Criminals would be polite, to be honest, Wendy. Let's face it, they're worse than criminals. There's not even a word to describe them. It's so out of hand. It's staggering. So I think I might have got most folk. Oh, Dominic's became a member. Thanks very much, Dominic. We don't we don't get many members. Maybe it'll build. Who knows? But I'm very grateful for the people that do joined. We got a few members on the original channel, but then YouTube decided, nope, you're not allowed that anymore. They took it all away. So I don't know. We might get it back. We might not. Again, that's not even in my hands. It's up to the FOT police. So thank you very much, Dominic. Much appreciated. Great stuff. Anyone else that I missed? Unknown, patient unknown. Classic name, right? I love it. Good to see you back again. Losing. I think there's everyone loses in war. There's no winner. Let's face it. And they're going to drag this out. So don't expect to hear anything about someone being a loser soon. This is a long game they're going in for. It's far from over. At least in my view, but I mean, it's not Ukraine against Russia. It's NATO, isn't it? Who are they trying to kid? And of course, they want our money, literally our money out of my bloody pocket. Honest to God, they can dance. So good to see Patient Unknown. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you back again. Johnny's List. I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed tonight's stream, if that's possible. Anyone else? TWPB. Great stuff. Yeah. Yep. I think the Bush entity itself is one big weapon of mass destruction. That's basically what these entities are themselves. The Clintons, definitely. So I think we might have got everyone. Clara as well. Good to see Clara. A beautiful name, that. Beautiful. My sister-in-law has a daughter called Clara May, actually. A beautiful name. Lots of beautiful names here. Katie, Wendy, October. Yeah, why not, right? William, maybe not so much. A bit of a boring name, to be honest. And of course, Rich as well, in the hood. What happened to your camera? It was working last night. To be honest, I don't see the point in putting it on. I don't see much point in it, especially if I've got my kids here and I'm kind of babysitting. I'd rather they didn't appear. So it's kind of just in case. But I mean, I can use it and scare people away by seeing my face. But there you go. Richard, good to see you back again. And thank you for joining the other night as well. Much appreciated. And thank you for the messages. Great stuff. So we'll jump to the very, 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 very beginning now and see who snuck in. Who snuck in the door? Oh, Carmel. We're going to have to hand out some press ups, I think. Yeah, we're going to have to. So expect a message, an email. I'm typing it up now. 1,000 press ups. But when you're a lady, you're all right. Because a press up, a female press up is your hands against the wall and do a press up standing up against the wall. That was a women's press up in my day. I don't know if they maybe today it's different, right? But men, of course, you have to be lying down on the ground, all the way down, your chest almost touching the ground, then back up, all the way up, then back down, then all the way up. And my dad was a coach at the boxing when I used to go, and I never got away with anything whatsoever. I always got grilled and made a example of, pretty much. But there you go. I learned a lot from that, I can assure you. So good to see Carmel back again in New Zealand, right? Spanish chicken in the hood as well. Not if she is flat chested. Yeah. Well, I can't comment on that, to be honest. Spanish chicken. I love a bit of Spanish chicken, me. Who's been lurking in the background? We can see you. I hope no one's got headphones on. Bloody hell. That'll go right through them, right? Good evening to you tonight. And Wendy B. HAARP, yeah. We covered HAARP mainly tonight, but in a nutshell, weather modification, weather manipulation, the manipulation of the atmosphere by the American military, aerospace forces, aka NASA, or BAE, the British Aerospace Entity, which is pretty much a military entity. I mean, I worked on the RAF camp. They built a new hangar that cost about $1 billion. And it was BAE that was there. And they were actually watching. This is no word of a lie, right? They actually had anybody that worked on the site was being monitored 24 hours a day. And I hated it. And when you went in, there was a big line of these suited men with clipboards all watching everyone, honestly. And when I asked about it, it was they were worried about devices being planted, not bombs or anything like that, listening devices. So I think they were a wee bit worried that someone might have maybe infiltrated the working circles of the camp. And in particular, they were worried about a listening device being installed in a certain area of the camp, in the concrete. I mean, what's it going to hear in the concrete? I'm unsure, but I guess it could pick up something, right? That was the last time I worked on the military camp. I couldn't do it. I thought, nah, do you know what? Stick it up your arse. I don't want to be part of it. I hate it anyway. Oh, it brings jobs. It brings this. Economy. Yeah. Oh, where was all the worry about the economy when they locked us all up for 2 years? Zip, nilch, nada. I was the only person in Elgin, a population of about 40,000, 30 maybe people, 30,000 people. I was the only person who stood up and said, close it down. Because they came out and said, oh, they might be closing the camp down. What are we going to do? Fucking party. That's what we would do. Party like it's 1999. Remember that? Those were the days, right? But no one. I was the only person, and I got attacked for it. Which is, of course, water off a duck's back when it comes to me, but I got attacked, abused, you name it, called every name under the sun. But I can guarantee you right now, this area would be a much better, a much safer place with these camps elsewhere. Not in Scotland, not anywhere. They can put it in the Falklands or, I don't know, London. I mean, they gave that to the immigrants anyway, right? Speaking of immigrants, Elgin here, where I stay, has got 2 hotels currently earmarked to be filled with immigrants for up to the next 2 years. So we might hear a wee bit more about that, right? I'll keep an eye on the situation. I can guarantee you there's going to be trouble there. No two ways about it. And they won't like it here. They simply won't. The majority of them, if not all of them, they're probably going to go back. Or to a bigger city in Scotland. Because I can guarantee you right now, they will hate it here. And the majority of them, they don't like the cold weather. I mean, who can blame them? They come here thinking it's all roses, but it's not. It's thistles and nettles in cold weather. It's pretty much winter the whole year in Scotland. And to a Syrian adult, that's not good. They're going to think twice and jump on the fucking boat and roll back again. But I reckon while they're here, there's going to be issues. I can guarantee you. I did hear from a person who worked at the hotel, and they said a lot of the staff, they've left because none of the people who are going to be coming in are getting any kind of background checks whatsoever. Shock horror! They could be anybody, of course, yeah. I mean, in my own view, the majority of them are chancing economic migrants that are not even probably at war. They see Britain as an easy target, easy picking, get an easy life. Well, they might just regret it, to be honest. You know what they say, right? Be careful with what you wish for. So on that note, we will wrap it up and we'll call it a night. I'll find a tune for closing up. And then I reckon I'll be back on, it might be next Monday. If I get a chance on Wednesday, I'll jump on. Failing that, it'll be next Monday, right? And I've still got a video that I want to do on the Antarctica. It keeps kind of evading me, which is funny. It's like maybe this video, they don't want me to make it, right? The powers that be. So I really need to sit down and get it done and get it out the way. There's a few different things, I guess, irons in the fire. So we might have a bit of a catch up next time around and see where we're at, right? And see where we're going to go, wherever that is. God only knows, right? So thank you again to everyone tonight. And thanks to Dominic for joining, becoming a member. To It's a Duck, the ever reliable. Phil as well, Spanish Chicken, Carmel, Robert, October, Les, Mike Met, Hasduck in the hood, Wendy B. Yep, great stuff. Yeah, so likely it will be Wednesday or next Monday, right? I'll try and let you know in advance. But yeah, you pretty much missed the whole lot. Honestly. Can't get the staff, man. But hey, luckily, you can watch it on replay, right? So I'll be looking out for you watching it on replay, or I'll have to chase you. Actually, I was thinking about Carmel the other day, which sounds a bit weird. I thought, I hadn't seen Carmel in a while. There was someone else. Who was it? I can't remember now. Oh, Bandy Boo, my Australian friend. I'm going to have to send an email, an inquiry to see if everything's okay. I've not heard from her, so I'm hoping everything's all right. I do think about people that, I mean, it's been a few years now. We've had people here. We've been interacting together. We've got a community going. And I do think about people in their lives, and obviously I wish them all the best with it. And I hope I could, if I can, I'll help anybody with anything whatsoever. if I can, of course, right? So, hopefully everyone's doing all right. What are we into now? Monday, May Day, bank holiday, of course, right? No rest for the wicked, though. So I'm back at college tomorrow. I'll keep you updated on my course. I fell behind a wee bit, so I'm a wee bit concerned there. I mean, overall, I've learnt a lot. So I've kind of achieved what I've set out to do, which is to learn more, mainly about plants, growing, caring for them. And I've already done it in the abundance, to be honest. But I'm going to keep going for the time being. We'll get into that on Wednesday or bloody hell, Monday. It's late, right? It's it's the 2nd in New Zealand. So even closer to my birthday in New Zealand. So you're in the future then. That's why you know so much. And we know nothing. We're stuck in the past, right? We're still in May Day. The month of May should be just a whole holiday all out. That's my view. Because my birthday's in May and my wife's birthday and my youngest's birthday, everybody's birthday seems to be in May, right? Come on, the Taurus, the bull. But honestly, it's funny because at college as well, there's 4 students left, including me, and we're all born in May, all quite close together. Then my main lecturer has got the same birthday as my wife, the 11th of May, which is, it's like, bloody hell, you could not make it up, man. Honestly, I guess some things are meant to be. My birthday, and I did say at the start, is on the 15th of May. So about 14 days away. And yeah, I don't think about my birthday anymore. I'm getting too old. Although in saying that, someone said last week when I was doing, as part of my college course, I was working at a a big garden center, which was great. It gave me a lot of food for thought, to be honest. I really enjoyed engaging with the people who had a problem with a plant or wanted to grow this plant or that plant. I mean, I felt like I was in my element, to be honest. And I got a lot of good feedback, especially on the Friday from customers who said that it was great, basically. I was like, who, me? How much did I pay the guy, right? But so that was a really good week. I really enjoyed it. But and I forgot what I was going to say now. Fuck. Honest to God. Anyway, I had a good week at the garden centre. That was great. And I'm enjoying the course, and I'll keep you updated on it, right? And don't worry about my birthday because no one likes to get old. Or maybe they do, I don't know. Who's having a debate about flat Earth? Spanish chicken. It may well be flat. Do you know this? And I concluded this a while ago, and I've said it before. The Earth is most likely nothing what we could even imagine it being. That's the only conclusion I can draw. It could be anything, to be honest. The guy Richie Allen cracked me up when he said, "Oh, he was kind of having a go at people who think the Earth is flat." Which is, I mean, hey, what do we know? Who are we to cast judgment? But he was he was kind of having a go at people who think the Earth's flat, and he then went on to say that he believes we live in a simulation. Right. So, I mean, everyone has their own wacky theory. I mean, even going back to maybe even not so long ago, the theory of a globe Earth would have been laughed at. And I think people tend to forget about that as well. And I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody what they should think. That's not for me to do. Think whatever the Earth is whatever you think it is. Knock yourself out. Proving it is a different story. It's a good topic to debate. For me, it's not the be all and end all. It is pushed massively by NASA, and you can clearly see that. So that's always worth bearing in mind. Look at who's behind it. Look at what comes out of it, i.e., the Flat Earth Society, who claims that Mars is a solid planet. Since when? Prove it. Oh, NASA proved it. Oh, so we believe NASA now? No, we don't. At least I don't. I would not trust them as far as I could throw them. So I'm unsure. I don't think people should fall out over it. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's good to have debate. I think that is great to have a debate about it. But it's not the be all and end all. It has become a manipulated sort of psyop, basically. They've jumped on the back of it and manipulated it for their own gain, of course. And they're good at doing that. So yeah, we might have it as a topic, a debate topic. We get the gloves on, right? Flat versus hollow versus sphere versus simulation. I mean, what's next? And there will be another one. I can guarantee you it. I might not be here when it comes out, but there will be another theory that comes out to what we live in, seemingly. But in my own view, it will not be the truth. I think we're so far away from reality, it's kind of hard to grasp how far we are actually away from it. Every day, every article, they're leading us further down the path to deception, basically. And again, that's my view on it. That's only my opinion, right? I'm allowed that, I think. So yeah, we might do that in the future. It's a good one to get into. My original channel is still currently on 2 strikes until the Thursday, I think. Or was it last week? I think it's this week. So we're kinda still hanging by a thread. I think we might be all right. But if not, we've got this channel and we'll continue to go on, right? I enjoyed my chat with Met Warwick last week. It's on the original channel. If you've not seen it, check it out. It was great. I'm going to get Met on again. If there's any guests that people think I could maybe get on, then yeah, I'm certainly willing to check it out. Man Dan. Yeah, I mean, again, when you look at Man Dan, right? Man Dan is portrayed as being a debunker of flat Earth, but in reality, he is a promoter of the flat Earth theory. Work that one out. Work that one out. And of course, we're no stranger to Skyman Dan or Skyman Dan. Conman Dan would be better. Because Dan, unbelievably, with his billion, million, gazillion subscribers, picked on one of my 5G videos and claimed to debunk it, claiming that 5G is super duper safe, when in reality it is not. And I remember Dan saying, "Oh, we'll be doing another video on this guy." Well, and I did say, don't hold your breath, because he won't. And he's not. And the abuse I got from his bloody minions was quite funny, to be honest. And consistent and very uniformed in repetitiveness, which was interesting. I mean, has anybody out there got their own bloody mind? But I did say, yeah, he won't do it again. I can guarantee you. and he's not. And that was about 2 years ago. So we're no stranger to Dan, right? So I'll go and find a tune. Good to see Rich in the hood. A latecomer. He's getting the bloody press-ups as well, right? We can't let anyone off. So until Wednesday or Friday, I will love you and leave you. And like I always say, not for one split second, live in fear. Don't do it. Simply don't. And like I always say, no matter what, no matter where, do not comply. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. I look around and since it is cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can see clearly where you're going. And I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. I'm running out of time, so I hit the road in overdrive. I can see the sun light up the sky, baby. Since it is cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can see clearly where you're going. I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. Just walking by to let you know I can never say it on the phone. We'll never let you go this time. I said, oh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep on